What's going on, everybody? This is your anchor man, Oak Summers, with one eye on the stocks, the other eye on the block. And this is today's Ecomedy report. Let's talk Bill Cosby. We're not talking about allegations today. Whether he's guilty or innocent is immaterial. It doesn't matter. Because, perfectly honest, the whole thing could have been done under wraps. It's done all the time, in sports especially. Somebody does something, it gets a very small segment on the third from the back page in the newspaper. They get out that DUI or whatever, or you have somebody like Pac-Man Jones who's like doing murders and all type of stuff, and they keep it really quiet. They could have done the same for Bill Cosby. Rape, date rape especially, is not a big deal. It's a big deal to the person that gets raped. I'm not taking anything away from it. But I'm saying if it were national news, then there would be a whole channel dedicated to college, because so many date rapes happen in college for these same situations, frat parties, people get drunk, take advantage of it. They had their own channel. Like, there's a reason that they made this particular situation so public. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why why this happened. There's a rumor that's not really a rumor, that a couple of decades ago, Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC, the channel. And everything bad in his life happened after he tried to purchase NBC unsuccessfully, from his fall of grace, not being able to produce any more shows on network television. The only channel picking him up was CBS. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a minute. Why CBS would be the only one to pick him up. The reason that, you know what I'm saying, there's rumors about his son being killed for that and things of that nature. We won't get into that part either, but we will get into the CBS part. But I want you to think about this in this aspect. Have you ever heard your parents tell you, I brought you in this world, I take you out? They made you, they could destroy you. That's the mind frame. They say the same thing in business. I made you, I can destroy you. You know what I'm saying? If I make your career, I can knock you off the pedestal. Nobody else really can, because who's above you on the pedestal except the person that put you there? So with that frame of mind, with the I made you, I can break you philosophy, let's get into this. There are only 6 major movie studios. Check them out. And they control not only what's produced, but what's distributed. Anytime you ever watched a movie, you saw one of those 6, and then you'll see a subset. You'll see 40 Acres and a Mule, or you'll see DreamWorks, or something of that nature. But they have to go through the big boys to get the distribution for their movies. Now, Bill Cosby, he did movies before. The last one I saw him do was Leonard Six, which sucked, but it made all of the rounds. And but he was a TV star. So let's list the top 25 television stations. Okay. Now, this is how that collages, right? So you're looking at the top television stations: ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, ESPN. You know what I'm saying? Can't say nothing about QVC, but we're rounding out the top 5. Of course, Fox is owned by Fox. Makes sense. ABC and ESPN are both owned by Disney, which means they have a controlling partner that's one of those top 6 that makes all the decisions that goes on. NBC is owned by Universal. So it's the NBC Universal Group, which means they also have a dog in that race. CBS is the only independent major television network. There's a lot of networks that you don't see there that you watch. You don't see UPN. You don't see all of the UPN affiliates, and you don't see Comedy Central. There are there are shows that you watch by networks that you like personally that don't make the list. And the reason that they even exist, that you watch them, is that any fledgling network makes it on the back of black entertainers. If you think of Comedy Central, you think Dave Chappelle. That's the network that Dave Chappelle made and that Jon Stewart carried. Those two people are the reason that you watch Comedy Central. And neither one of them are on Comedy Central anymore. When you think of UPN, you think about all the Chitlin Circuit shows that they put on, from Malcolm and Nettie to Rock. There's a lot of them, and even with Rock, they got that from Fox, who also started when it was just the big three: ABC, NBC, CBS. Fox snuck in with shows like that, with cartoons like The Simpsons, shows like In Living Color, Rock. You know what I'm saying? Just little skit stuff. White trash shows like Married with Kids, Married with Children. I'm sorry, like Al Bundy. Um, So they always appeal to the have-nots to generate their base, and then they get rid of the people who they didn't want to deal with anyway, and they expand from there after they already have a viewership established. This is why Bill Cosby, and to maybe even a greater extent, Dave Chappelle's downfall. This is why they matter, because if you have system that's run by six people, they control what you see. With that being said, we have to give the honorable mention to Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch owns 117 different media outlets, including stakes in Time Warner. Um, he tried to buy CNN, didn't quite work out. He's a 50% owner in Fox News. He controls almost everything that has a Times in it. Chicago Sun-Times, New York Times, LA Times. If it's a newspaper, he's probably touching that. So all your information comes from this dude. So if this dude doesn't want you around, you're not around. So he's one of those people that sit on that board table with those six major groups. All your news comes from Rupert. Most of your entertainment choices come from Rupert. Not exclusively, of course, but there's a framework, there's a blueprint there that he established a long time ago. If you don't get it from Rupert, you get it from Disney. So you're looking at a situation where you are put on a pedestal until they find you disposable. And that's where Bill Cosby finds himself now, as a disposable entity. There's an easy way to fix that. What we talk about a lot on the Comedy Report is collective growth, group investing, contributions, cooperation. Have you ever stayed up 2 in the morning, couldn't sleep, flicked the channels, and saw infomercials? I'm sure you have. I used to buy stuff off infomercials. Infomercials are so popular, that's why you have the Home Shopping Network and QVC, because people like to buy stuff they see on TV. These are normally from channels who don't have a great expense. They bought the broadcast being from the FCC, but they don't have programming and they don't have a fan base that can carry them past those prime time hours for the shows that they actually push. So you have a blueprint there that, to be honest, Martin Luther King III followed when he made Bounce TV. Instead of doing what Bill Cosby did and try to put up $450 million to buy NBC, which is a branch of Universal, and they not going. Instead, what MLK Trey did with his partners was found an outlet that wasn't used. There's 180 channels on regular broadcast TV. So he found one that they're not used. Out of 180, they probably use, in a big market like Chicago, they probably use 45 of them, 50 out of 150. In a small market, they probably use less than 17. So there's all type of extra things going on, like channel 50.5. Put it in, you probably won't see anything, but it's a real channel. You can click it with your remote control, 50.5. Well, all of the things that people put on YouTube, straight to Vimeo, that's enough material to run a station. The stations don't cost that much. We will talk about how to own and operate a station at a later date. That's not what this is about, but it is something to put on your mind. But I'm saying that you're able to crush someone when they are dependent on you for their sustenance. Just like right now, I can make 8 million families destitute if I took away Section 8. Well, I couldn't take away Section 8. If Uncle Sam took away Section 8, there would be 8 million homeless families. Right now, there's 556,000 homeless people. We can make that almost 9 million homeless people by just eliminating social services. So you can't go against social services. You got to do what your social worker says to do because they pay your bill. You got to do what your employer says to do. If they say work 2 hours overtime, you're going to work those 2 hours overtime because they pay your bills. This is no different. This is someone saying they pay your bills. But what happens to you is if you say take this job and shove it and you walk out on your employer, the worst thing that will happen is they'll put a ding on your employment history and they won't give you a referral. Now imagine putting 6 zeros behind that, and that's the magnitude of what's happened to people like Bill Cosby, Dave Chappelle, and others. You add those zeros, it magnifies the ding on your resume, and since you only have 6 employers to choose from, if one of them say that you're not hireable, the other 5 of them be like, all right, it's not like you work human resources and it's like 1 billion companies that need a human resource director. It's only 6 employers. So that ding on your resume really hurts. So that's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing a situation where you can only be hired by 6 people, and if you don't do what they say to do, they'll destroy you. They'll destroy your image, destroy your life, destroy your family. I'm surprised that they didn't freeze his bank accounts yet, although they did take his passport. So this is where we're going with this. Because when you control the media, you control the collective thought, you control the court system. Because how can you get a fair trial when everybody knows what's going on and have a preconceived notion of who you are? This is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. So what I want you guys to do is join us on January 17th at the Future Tycoon Investor Workshop. If you're in Chicago, you got to check us out. I'll put the link under the comments and click it and confirm your seating. We'll show you how to navigate this and how to control what you consume. This has been your anchorman, Oak Summers, with one eye on the stocks, the other eye on the block. And remember, love others as you love yourself and feed the block.